In the heart of the rainforest, beneath layers of vines and centuries of silence, lies a civilization that mapped the cosmos with breathtaking precision, yet seemingly vanished without a trace. They built pyramids that touched the sky. They created a calendar more accurate than our own, and they left behind a mystery that has haunted archaeologists for over 1,000 years. What happened to the Maya? And what secrets did they take with them into the jungle? This is their story. The story of a people who defied the impossible, and the warnings they left for us all. 3,000 years ago, in the lush lowlands of Mesoamerica, a remarkable transformation was taking place. While most of the world struggled with basic agriculture, the Maya were already dreaming of the stars. Picture this. It's 2000 BCE. The landscape we know today as Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and southern Mexico is covered in dense tropical rainforest. The land is hostile, unforgiving, and yet, here, something extraordinary begins to stir. Remember this moment, because what starts here in the mud and the rain will reach the heavens. The earliest Maya were farmers, simple people working the earth, but they possessed something rare, something precious, an unquenchable curiosity about the world around them. They watched the sky. They tracked the movements of Venus, the moon, the sun. They asked questions that wouldn't be answered in Europe for another 2,000 years. Imagine a young Maya child lying on their back in the darkness, watching the stars wheel overhead. Imagine them asking their grandfather, "Where do we come from? Where are we going?" And imagine that grandfather answering not with myths alone, but with mathematics, with observation, with science. This was the Maya. By 250 CE, the classic Maya period explodes into being. And what an explosion it was. Cities rise from the jungle floor. Not villages, not towns. Cities. Tikal, El Mirador, Calakmul, Palenque, Copan. El Mirador alone, one of the earliest Maya megacities, covered 6 square miles. Its pyramids soared over 230 feet into the sky. This wasn't just a city. This was a statement carved in stone. We are here. We are mighty. And we will endure forever. Or so they thought. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let me paint you a picture of daily life in Tikal during its height, around 700 CE. You wake up before dawn in a limestone house. The city is already buzzing with activity. Farmers bring cacao, maize, beans, and squash from the terraced fields. Artisans display jade carvings that catch the morning light like captured stars. But your eyes drift upward, always upward, to the pyramids. Temple 4 rises 212 feet above the plaza. From its summit, Maya kings commune with the gods, and below, tens of thousands of people, perhaps 100,000 at Tikal's peak, go about their lives in the shadow of greatness. Here's what gets me, what really moves me about the Maya. They weren't just building monuments to dead kings. Every pyramid, every plaza, every carefully aligned structure was a question posed to the universe. Can we understand you? They asked the cosmos. Can we predict you? Can we become part of your divine mathematics? And the answer they discovered was, yes. Yes, we can. Now we come to perhaps the most mind-bending aspect of Maya civilization, their relationship with time itself. What I'm about to tell you will seem impossible, but it's true. The Maya had not one, not two, but 3 interconnected calendars working simultaneously. And together, they created a timekeeping system so sophisticated, so precise, that it wouldn't be matched until the atomic age. First, the Tzolk'in, a 260-day sacred calendar, 13 numbers cycling with 20 day names. This was their spiritual heartbeat, used for rituals, prophecies, and determining a person's destiny. Second, the Hab, a 365-day solar calendar, 18 months of 20 days, plus 5 unlucky days called the Wayeb. This tracked the agricultural year with stunning accuracy. But here's where it gets wild. These two calendars meshed together like cosmic gears, creating a 52-year cycle called the calendar round. And that was just the beginning. The long count calendar tracked time from a mythical creation date, August 11th, 3114 BCE. It could measure spans of millions of years with perfect accuracy. Think about that. While most civilizations were focused on next year's harvest, the Maya were calculating dates thousands of years in the past and millions of years in the future. There's a stela at Quirigua, a carved stone monument that records a date 400 million years in the past. Why? What purpose could that possibly serve? Because to the Maya, time wasn't just a tool. It was sacred. It was alive. And they were its faithful scribes, recording the universe's story, one day at a time. This is their answer, written in stone. Let me show you just how brilliant these people were. The Maya independently invented the concept of zero. Let that sink in. Zero. The number that represents nothing, but makes everything possible. Most European mathematicians wouldn't grasp this concept for another 800 years. They used base 20 mathematics, videcimal counting. Their number system used only 3 symbols, a dot for 1, a bar for 5, and a shell for 0. Simple. Elegant. Genius. With this, they could perform calculations that would make your head spin. They calculated Venus's orbital period as 584 days. The modern measurement? 583.92 days. They knew the lunar month lasted 29.53020 days. Our modern figure? 29.53059 days. They did this without telescopes, without computers, without even metal tools for their instruments. Just observation, just patience, just thousands of years of careful, dedicated watching and recording. Imagine being a Maya scribe. You're part of an unbroken chain stretching back centuries. Every night you climb the pyramid. Every night you watch Venus rise and set. You record it in your codex, a book made of bark paper covered in glyphs more beautiful than any alphabet. You know you'll never see the completion of this work. Your grandson won't see it. Your grandson's grandson won't see it. But centuries from now, your observations will combine with thousands of others to reveal the divine mathematics of the heavens. That's not just science. That's faith. That's love. That's civilization at its finest. But even the brightest light casts a shadow, and for the Maya, that shadow was growing. El Mirador thought it would endure forever? Let's talk about what happened instead. Around 900 CE, something went wrong. Catastrophically wrong. One by one, the great cities fell silent. Tikal, abandoned. Palenque, abandoned. Copan, abandoned. No armies swept through, no plague left bodies in the streets. The Maya simply stopped. They stopped building. They stopped carving dates into stone. They walked away from cities that had stood for 1,000 years. Within a century, the jungle reclaimed everything. Pyramids became hills. Plazas became forests. A civilization of millions vanished. Can you imagine it? The last priest climbing the pyramid stairs at Tikal. The last time those steps would echo with footsteps for over 1,000 years. What did they feel? Did they know they were witnessing the end? Or did they think they'd return after the drought passed, after the trade routes reopened, but they never did. For decades, archaeologists and historians have debated what happened. And the truth, as we now understand it, is both simpler and more complex than anyone imagined. The Maya collapse wasn't one event. It was a cascade, a perfect storm of disasters that fed on each other until the whole system broke. Factor 1. Environmental devastation. The Maya transformed their landscape. They cut down forests for farmland, for lime production to make the plaster that covered their buildings. They altered river systems, drained swamps, built massive cities. For centuries, it worked, but the land has limits. Soil erosion increased, water became scarce. Then came the droughts, a series of severe dry periods between 800 and 1000 CE. Lakes dried up. Crops failed. The very system that had fed millions starved. Factor 2. Warfare. As resources grew scarce, the city-states turned on each other. Trade routes became targets. Allies became enemies. The warfare intensified, growing more brutal with each generation. Inscriptions from this period show a chilling progression. Battles for honor become battles for survival. The Maya kings claimed divine authority. They promised to bring the rains, ensure the harvests, maintain cosmic order. When the droughts came and didn't end, how long could people maintain faith? Remember the child asking questions? Imagine them asking, "Why have the gods abandoned us?" Picture a farmer in Copan, around 850 CE. Your family has worked this land for 20 generations. Your grandfather's grandfather carved glyphs on that temple over there, but the rains haven't come in 3 years. Your children are hungry. The king performs sacrifice after sacrifice, but the sky remains merciless. Traders from the north speak of better lands, more water, new opportunities. So you leave. You take your family and you walk away from everything your ancestors built. You're not fleeing in terror. You're not running from an army. You're just leaving, trying to survive. Multiply that by thousands, by hundreds of thousands, and you understand the Maya collapse. It wasn't an apocalypse. It was a slow unraveling. A civilization coming apart, thread by thread, family by family, until only the stones remained. But here's what's crucial to understand. What happened next? The Maya didn't disappear. They didn't vanish. They didn't die out. The Maya are still here. Today, over 7 million Maya people live in Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador. They speak Maya languages, over 30 of them, each distinct and vital. They maintain traditions that stretch back thousands of years. The cities fell, the divine kingship ended, but the people endured. Some Maya communities maintained their languages and customs through Spanish conquest, through centuries of persecution, through attempts at forced assimilation. In the highlands of Guatemala, in the villages of Yucatan, in communities across Mesoamerica, traditional Maya culture thrives. They are not remnants of a dead civilization. They are the living continuation of an ancient tradition, adapting, surviving, thriving. So what do the Maya teach us? What wisdom did they leave carved in stone and written in the stars? First, that civilization is fragile. The mightiest cities can fall. The grandest empires can crumble, not through invasion or plague, but through the slow erosion of the systems that sustain them. The child looking at the stars? Well, they were their descendants, asking the same questions. Second, that environmental collapse is real. The Maya pushed their ecosystem beyond its limits. The droughts came, the system broke. They couldn't science their way out of ecological disaster, not even with their brilliant mathematics and astronomy. Sound familiar? It should, because we're running the same experiment, only on a global scale. But here's the third lesson, the most important one. Humans are capable of extraordinary things. Given curiosity, given time, given dedication, we can map the cosmos. We can create beauty that lasts millennia. We can ask questions that echo through the ages. The Maya looked up at an infinite universe and refused to accept ignorance. They demanded understanding. And through patient observation, through collaboration across generations, through the accumulation of knowledge year after year, century after century, they got it. That child lying on their back, watching the stars, asking, "Where do we come from?" Their descendants answered the question. They calculated the movements of planets. They measured time itself. They left us pyramids that still stand, calendars that still work, glyphs we've only recently learned to read. And in abandoned cities throughout the jungle, their stones still wait, still teach, still testify to what humans can achieve when we dare to ask the impossible questions. The Maya taught us that time is circular, that everything that has happened will happen again, that the stars wheel overhead in eternal patterns. Perhaps that's true. Perhaps somewhere in the future, humans will look back at our cities the way we look back at Tikal. Perhaps they'll wonder what we knew, what we lost, what we were trying to tell them. But perhaps they'll also see what the Maya showed us, that knowledge survives, that curiosity endures, that the questions we ask echo through time, waiting for new generations to answer them. The Maya are still here. Their questions are still alive. And the stars? The stars still wheel overhead, waiting for someone to watch, to wonder, to ask.